When the body whispers before it cries, have you ever felt something strange in your body, but told yourself, it's nothing, I'm just getting older? Maybe it was a subtle itch, no rash, no redness, just something that wouldn't go away. You scratched, moisturized, tried a different soap, yet it stayed, small, quiet, but persistent. What if that itch wasn't just about your skin? What if it was your body's whisper trying to tell you something before it screamed? You see, after 60, our bodies start speaking in gentler ways, not with loud pain or obvious signs, but with soft cues: a short breath, a restless night, an itch that doesn't quit, and far too often, we ignore them. We call it aging. We learn to tolerate, to brush it off, but maybe we shouldn't. Because today, I want to share with you something vital. 5 unexpected places where persistent itching could be your body's early warning long before a diagnosis appears. Along the way, I'll tell you the story of a man who ignored an itch on his back and a woman who thought her legs just needed more lotion. Their journeys may sound familiar, and perhaps they'll give you the nudge to check in with your own body or someone you love. If you've ever experienced unexplained itching, comment the number 1 below. If not, leave a 0. I truly want to hear from you. And if this message touches your heart, please subscribe and turn on the bell so we never lose touch on this journey of aging wisely and living fully. Let's begin. Number 1. The back that knows before the tests do. A silent itch between the shoulders and a truth too important to ignore. There's something about the upper back, that place between your shoulder blades you can never quite reach, that seems unimportant until it starts to itch. It begins quietly, no rash, no redness, just an odd little sensation that won't go away. You stretch, scratch. Maybe you change your detergent. Maybe you put on more lotion, but somehow it keeps returning, especially at night, especially when you're alone. Thomas, a 74-year-old retired carpenter from Illinois, noticed that kind of itch. He was the kind of man who built things with his hands and rarely complained. When his wife asked about the way he kept rubbing his back against door frames, he shrugged. Just dry skin, he said. Nothing to worry about. But weeks passed, then months. The itch stayed. When Thomas finally went in for a routine checkup, his doctor ordered some blood work, not because of the itch, but because of his age. A few tests later, they discovered early signs of bile duct blockage, a liver-related condition that, left untreated, could have become something far worse. And do you know the first clue? It wasn't fatigue. It wasn't painful. It was that strange little itch on his back, the one he nearly ignored. Doctors now understand that certain organs, especially the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder, are linked to this part of the back through a dense network of sensory nerves. When those organs are inflamed or begin to fail, the nervous system may send signals, not as pain, but as itch, and not as surface-level itch, but something deeper, like it's coming from underneath the skin. This is why so many older adults who are later diagnosed with liver disease recall that same uncomfortable sensation. An itch that didn't hurt, didn't show on the skin, but wouldn't leave them alone. So, what can you do if you've been experiencing this kind of persistent itch on your upper back, especially if it's deep, comes and goes, and doesn't improve with moisturizers? It's time to gently ask your doctor for a liver enzyme test. It's simple, painless, and it just might give you peace of mind or a head start on healing. Because sometimes healing starts not with medicine, but with noticing. Let's continue. What if the next clue is not above us, but beneath us in our legs? Number 2, itchy lower legs, a sign of circulation, not just dry skin. Why what you feel in your shins might reflect what's happening in your heart. We often think of dry skin as a harmless nuisance, something fixed with lotion or better hydration. But when an itch lingers on your lower legs, especially the shins or ankles, and seems to return every evening, that might not be your skin talking. That might be your circulatory system whispering. You see, as we age, the efficiency of our circulation begins to decline. The heart pumps slower. The blood doesn't reach the farthest points our feet and legs with the same force it once had. And in that quiet slowing, subtle symptoms begin to emerge. One of those early symptoms is itching, not with a rash, not with swelling, but a peculiar discomfort under the skin that's hard to scratch and even harder to explain. This happens because when circulation weakens, toxins and waste products that should have been flushed out linger. They collect in the lower extremities, just beneath the skin. And while you might not see anything, your body feels it. The nerves in the skin respond not always with pain, but often with that gentle, restless itch. Nighttime often makes it worse. When the body is still and gravity pulls more fluid down, the itch can flare. You might think it's dryness, allergies, or even your socks. But it could be much more than that. This kind of itch may hint at underlying issues like chronic venous insufficiency, early heart dysfunction, or even kidney imbalances. It's subtle, easy to ignore, but it's often one of the earliest signs that your body is asking for support. So what can you do? The answer isn't fear, it's awareness. Notice patterns. Is the itch always in the same place? Does it return each night? Does lotion not help? Are your legs colder, weaker, or more tired than before? If the answer to any of those is yes, then it's time to bring it up gently with your doctor. A circulation check, a blood pressure review, or even a heart rhythm scan can shed light on what's happening underneath. And even if nothing serious is found, your peace of mind is worth asking. Because what you're feeling might not just be a skin issue, it could be the heart speaking through the feet. Now let's move upward again to a place near the heart, where a different kind of itch may signal something deeper. Number 3, chest and upper arm itching, a message from the immune system. When the body defends you, it sometimes speaks through the skin. There's something deeply personal about the area across your chest and upper arms. It's where the heart beats quietly beneath, where your lungs rise and fall, where memories of embraces and burdens once carried still linger. So when an unfamiliar itch begins to stir in this area, especially without a rash or irritation, many brush it off. It's my clothes, they say. Or maybe I changed laundry soap. But what if that's not the reason? What if your immune system, not your skin, is the one trying to speak? This region of the body holds a rich concentration of lymph nodes, the command centers of the immune system. When something unusual begins to grow inside us, whether a viral invader, a malfunctioning cell, or something far more insidious, our immune system quietly mobilizes. In its early alert phase, before fatigue sets in, before weight loss or night sweats, the only outward sign might be a mysterious itch, one that doesn't respond to lotion, soap, or time. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being present. This kind of itch is often deep, like it's coming from beneath the skin. It may flare and subside. Sometimes it feels worse after a hot shower or when you lie down to rest. And yet, there is no visible mark, no redness, only a persistent hum, a signal just below the surface. Medical science now understands that such itching may occur due to chemical messengers released by your immune cells. Cytokines, histamines, these are part of your body's natural defense. But sometimes their earliest effects appear not in fevers or inflammation, but as quiet discomfort in places we least expect. The chest and upper arms near where many immune hubs lie are often the first places to feel it. It doesn't mean something is wrong, but it means something might be changing. And change, in the body, it deserves attention, not fear. So if you've had this kind of itch, persistent, deep, unexplained, especially if it's in the same area, and especially if it's paired with even small changes in energy or sleep, gently speak to your healthcare provider. A simple blood panel or scan can often offer reassurance or reveal what needs to be addressed. Because your body is not betraying you. It's trying to protect you, and sometimes it does so by whispering through your skin. Next, we'll move upward again to the top of the body, where an itch often hides in plain sight, the scalp. Number 4, scalp itching. When the head feels it before the heart understands, Not all itches are on the surface. Some begin in silence, deep within. It's easy to dismiss an itchy scalp. After all, who hasn't blamed it on the weather, shampoo, or aging skin? It's one of the most common irritations we face, especially after 60. But what if an itch on your scalp is not about your hair? What if it's not your skin either, but something beneath that? The scalp is one of the most sensitive parts of the human body. It's rich with nerve endings, blood vessels, and receptors that tie directly into your nervous system. That means when something shifts inside your body even slightly, your scalp may feel it first. Conditions that affect the kidneys, thyroid, or even the nervous system often start with something subtle, not pain, not swelling, but a strange, lingering itch that doesn't go away and doesn't respond to shampoos or treatments. This kind of itch may be the result of toxins slowly building in your bloodstream. When your kidneys begin to lose efficiency, or it may stem from hormone imbalances. When your thyroid, that small but mighty gland, begins to drift off course, your scalp doesn't show signs the way your skin does elsewhere. There are no rashes, no flakes, just a restlessness you can't shake off. And because there's no visible proof, it often goes ignored. You tell yourself it's nothing. You adapt. You scratch absent-mindedly during meals, before sleep, while thinking. But here's the truth. Your scalp might be the first place to warn you that something's changing. We are taught to wait until pain arrives. But the body doesn't always shout. Sometimes it starts with a whisper, a tingling, a crawling feeling, a need to touch the same spot again and again. And the older we get, the more vital it becomes to pay attention to such whispers. Because by the time discomfort becomes pain, what was manageable may already be something more serious. So how do you know when a scalp itch deserves more than a new bottle of shampoo? Ask yourself, has it lasted more than a few weeks? Is there no dandruff or redness? Do regular hair products make no difference? Do you feel more tired, foggy, or cold lately? If the answer is yes, or even if you're just unsure, it's okay to ask your doctor for a basic kidney or thyroid panel. Not because you're afraid, but because you care enough to check. Because the body that's carried you through decades deserves your attention even when it speaks in whispers. In the next part, we'll travel to the places we use every day, our hands and feet, where hidden signals often show up first. Number 5. Itching on palms and soles. When the extremes reveal the hidden, the farthest parts of the body often speak first. Your hands and feet, they work for you all day. They touch, they carry, they walk, they balance. And when something goes wrong, they often feel it before you understand it. An itch on the palms or the soles of the feet is rarely considered alarming. Most people think it's my shoes, it's the detergent, it's just dry. But what if these areas, because of how rich they are in nerves and vessels, are actually some of the most sensitive early indicators of deeper trouble? The palms and soles contain a dense concentration of nerve endings, blood vessels, and sweat glands. This makes them highly responsive not just to touch and temperature, but also to internal changes that affect the nervous system, blood sugar, or liver function. One of the most overlooked causes of itching in these areas is metabolic imbalance. When blood sugar rises, or when diabetic neuropathy begins to form, it often starts with subtle, unexplained sensations, tingling, crawling, a deep itch that feels like it's beneath the skin, no rash, no swelling, no explanation, just a feeling that something isn't quite right. Similarly, when the liver is struggling to process bile correctly, or when certain toxins build in the bloodstream, they often affect these remote areas first. Why? Because the body is trying to purge or redirect irritants, and the extremities become the outlet. This kind of itch is often more intense at night, especially after a warm day, physical activity, or when you're lying still and noticing your body more clearly. It doesn't respond well to lotions or typical allergy treatments because it's not skin deep, it's systemic. And yet, it's so easy to ignore because the causes seem so ordinary, because we've learned to explain it away. But your body deserves more than dismissal. It deserves attention. So if your hands or feet are sending you repeated signals, if that strange crawling sensation, that hard-to-reach itch beneath the skin keeps showing up, pause and reflect. Do you also feel tired more often? Do you experience increased thirst, frequent urination, or numbness? Even a minor shift in these sensations may be the body's way of asking for a little more care and a little less silence. Ask your doctor about a basic metabolic panel, liver enzymes, or a nerve function test. These tests are simple, often covered by insurance, and could offer not only answers, but relief, because the farther your body has to reach to be heard, the more important it is to listen. Next, Corn, let's consider not where the itch is, but when it happens, why nighttime matters more than we realize. We've explored where the itch appears, but now it's time to ask when, because timing, like location, tells its own quiet truth. And for many, the most revealing clues arrive not in the daylight, but in the stillness of night. Number 6, nighttime itching. When the body speaks after the world goes quiet, darkness doesn't just bring rest, it often reveals what daylight hides. There's something different about the night, not just in how the world slows down, but in how our bodies finally have the space to speak without distraction, without noise. For many older adults, itching seems to arrive or worsen once the sun sets. Maybe it starts as a light tingling on the legs, or a whisper of discomfort on the back, the arms, or even the scalp. You try to brush it off, but lying in bed, with the house quiet and the lights dimmed, it becomes impossible to ignore. Why does this happen? Part of the answer lies in how your body regulates itself after dark. At night, your circulation naturally slows, especially to the outer limbs. Body temperature drops, hormone levels shift, and the immune system becomes more active, scanning and repairing as you sleep. These changes, though necessary, can intensify internal imbalances, making itching more noticeable, more persistent, more frustrating. But here's what makes it especially significant. Itching that only or mostly occurs at night is often tied to underlying chronic conditions, especially those affecting the liver, kidneys, nervous system, or even certain cancers. When your body is battling something beneath the surface, it tends to speak louder when everything else is silent. And it's not just about the itch. It's about what comes with it, the restlessness, the tossing and turning, the loss of sleep that slowly wears on your spirit. Nighttime itching doesn't just affect your skin, it can affect your mood and your energy, your clarity, and over time, even your sense of peace. So, what should you pay attention to? Is the itch significantly worse at night than during the day? Does it disrupt your sleep consistently? Do you notice other nighttime symptoms like chills, night sweats, or unusual dreams? Have you begun to fear the quiet because that's when the discomfort begins? These are not small questions. They are early invitations to care more deeply for your body. Talk to your doctor about nighttime symptoms. Mention even the things that feel minor. Sometimes, the smallest details open the door to the most meaningful discoveries. Because when the world goes quiet, your body speaks up. And in that stillness, if we listen closely, we just might hear the truth we've been needing all along. Up next, let's explore how an itch paired with another subtle symptom, like fatigue or weight change, can become a more urgent message. Number 7. When itching brings a companion, what happens when the body sends two messages at once? One symptom may whisper, but two, that's when the body starts to insist. Itching, on its own, is easy to dismiss. It's small, it's manageable. You can tell yourself it's the weather, the fabric, your age. But what happens when itching shows up with a companion? A fatigue that won't go away? A subtle loss of weight you didn't intend? A dry mouth? A racing heart? A night sweat you didn't expect? That's when the body stops whispering and starts asking for your attention. You see, one symptom is often a random signal, but two or more, especially when they happen consistently together, are part of a deeper pattern. And patterns are how the body tells its story. Itching plus fatigue, itching, unexplained weight loss, itching plus changes in bathroom habits, itching plus shortness of breath. These combinations, though subtle, are often the earliest signs of chronic issues: thyroid disorders, autoimmune conditions, liver or kidney dysfunction, and even certain types of cancer. But here's the challenge: when each sign is quiet, we don't always connect the dots. You might not even mention them to your doctor because each one alone feels too small. But healing starts when you realize it's not about how loud the symptom is, it's about how many times it repeats and what it brings with it. This is especially true as we age. Our bodies no longer shout like they did when we were young. They speak in layers, and often, one layer of discomfort masks another beneath it. So what can you do? You don't need to panic. You don't need to assume the worst, but you do need to pause and reflect. Has my itch become part of a pattern? Is it always joined by something else? Is my body trying to say, please slow down and listen? When symptoms come in pairs, even if they seem mild, that's your invitation to check in more deeply. To not rush, do not brush it off. Ask for a comprehensive checkup, not just a skin cream. Look at your whole self, not just one spot, because the truth is the body is wise. And when it starts speaking in more than one voice, it's not trying to scare you, it's trying to protect you. In the next section, we'll explore a deeper truth: why so many older adults ignore these signs and how we can change that together. Number 8, why older adults often ignore the signs and why that needs to change. We've learned to be strong, but strength isn't silence, it's listening. Many older adults have one thing in common: a remarkable ability to tolerate discomfort. Aches, normal; fatigue, part of age; itching, just dry skin. We grow up being taught to endure, to not complain, especially those from generations shaped by hardship, war, recession, loss. The unspoken motto was, if you can still walk, it's not worth talking about. But here's the truth that many of us are only learning later in life. Ignoring your body doesn't mean you're strong. It simply means you're not listening to the very thing that's trying to take care of you. You've spent decades caring for others, your children, your family, your work. And in doing so, you've learned to set yourself aside. But now, in this stage of life, you have earned something precious: the right to pay attention to yourself. Because aging is not about surrendering to decline. It's about becoming wiser in how you respond to it. Your body speaks differently now. It doesn't scream with urgency like it did when you were 30. Now, it hints, it nudges, it whispers, and yes, sometimes it itches. Not every itch is serious, but when your instincts tell you something feels off, even if you can't explain it, that's reason enough to check. We must break the cycle of thinking that small symptoms don't matter. Because many serious illnesses didn't start with collapse. They started with something soft and quiet. So let's redefine what strength really means. Strength is choosing to ask questions. Strength is saying, I don't want to wait until it's too late. Strength is allowing yourself to matter without guilt, without apology, because you are not a burden. You are a person who deserves clarity, comfort, and care. And the more we normalize listening to our bodies, the more lives we can protect, including our own. In the next part, we'll look at what to actually say or ask when visiting your doctor, so these subtle symptoms don't go unnoticed. Number 9, what to say to your doctor. Turning concern into clarity. The way you speak about your symptoms can make all the difference. For many older adults, going to the doctor can feel intimidating, not because we don't want help, but because we've been taught not to bother anyone unless it's serious. So we minimize. We say, it's probably nothing. We wait. We say, I didn't want to waste your time. But what if we told the truth instead? What if we gave our doctors a chance to connect the dots we haven't seen? Because here's what often happens when we finally sit in the office. We talk about everything except the strange little itch we've been ignoring. We mention the knee pain, the blood pressure, but not the sensation on our back that's been visiting us every night for months. Why? Because it feels too small, too strange, too embarrassing to explain. But here's something your doctor would want you to know. They can only help you with what you share. That means even if the itch sounds odd, even if it comes and goes, even if you can't describe it well, it matters. So the next time you sit down with your healthcare provider, try this. Lately, I've been noticing some strange itching and I don't see a rash. It comes at night and feels deep, not on the surface. It's been happening for a few weeks now, in the same spot. I've tried lotions and soap changes, but nothing helps. Simple, honest statements like these help your doctor ask the right questions. They may order a blood panel, check your liver, kidney, or thyroid function, and sometimes nothing serious is found. That's okay, but what you gain is peace of mind, and what you avoid is delay. Too many diagnoses are made after things get worse when early attention might have made the path easier. Remember, you're not being dramatic. You're being wise. You're not wasting anyone's time. You're saving your own. Your health journey isn't about fear. It's about curiosity. It's about care. So don't just live with symptoms. Speak them out loud. In the next part, we'll go one level deeper beyond symptoms into something more personal, how to trust your instinct when something feels off, even if nothing looks wrong yet. Number 10, trusting your instinct. When you feel something without a name, the body knows long before the mind understands. Sometimes nothing looks wrong. The tests are normal. The scans show nothing. Even your doctor says, you're fine. And yet, something deep inside you whispers, no, something's not quite right. It's not fear. It's not anxiety. It's that quiet, steady knowing, the kind that comes not from panic, but from presence. As we age, this kind of body wisdom becomes even more valuable. We've lived in our bodies long enough to know when something is off, even if we can't prove it. But too often, we override it. We say, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe it'll pass. We stop listening to our own inner voice, the one that's protected us for decades. But what if that voice is still right? What if your discomfort, your unexplained itching, your unease is a signal meant to be heard, not ignored? You don't need to diagnose yourself. You don't need to panic. You only need to honor the feeling. Because instinct is not some mystical force, it's your nervous system, your biology, your experience, all working together beneath your awareness. It's noticing patterns before your conscious mind does. That deep down feeling, the one that says, this isn't like before, deserves respect. So if you feel something, an itch that won't quit, a fatigue that feels unfamiliar, a tension you can't name, say it out loud. Write it down. Ask about it. You're not being dramatic. You're being in tune. Listening to your body is an act of wisdom. It's how healing begins, not in the hospital, not in a pill, but in a moment of quiet truth. So don't let doubt override your intuition. Don't wait for things to get worse just to feel sure. The whisper is enough. You've lived too long and learned too much to not trust the instrument you've inhabited all these years. In the next part, we'll take this insight and make it practical, how awareness combined with early action can truly change your health. Number 11, from awareness to action, how small steps can change everything. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing. Early, by now, you've heard stories. You've reflected on symptoms. You've considered how a simple itch in the right place, at the right time, could be a signal, not a coincidence. And maybe you're starting to feel a quiet shift inside, not fear, but readiness. Readiness to listen more carefully, readiness to care for yourself more intentionally, readiness to act not out of panic, but out of wisdom. Because healing doesn't start with a diagnosis. It begins with awareness and grows through action. So what can you do right now, today? Track what you feel. Don't just wait for something to get worse. Write it down. Notice patterns. Keep a simple journal when it itches. Where? What else is happening? Speak up early. Mention it to your doctor. Even if it feels small, they can't help with what they don't know. And the earlier they know, the easier the path may be. Nisham, take your signals seriously. That doesn't mean worrying. It means valuing what your body is telling you and honoring it. Trust your inner wisdom. Your instincts are not random. They are born from decades of living. They have earned your attention. And perhaps the most important step, allow yourself to matter. You've spent years putting others first. Now, allow yourself to be included in your own care. Because the truth is simple. You are not too late. You are not overreacting. You are not being dramatic. You are awake. You are being courageous. You are being alive and choosing to stay that way for as long and as well as possible. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom, the kind that comes when you know you're paying attention and giving yourself a real chance to thrive. In the final section, we'll reflect on everything we've explored and find the deeper meaning beneath the surface. Number 12. Final thoughts. What an itch might truly be telling you. Sometimes what feels like a minor discomfort is actually a quiet gift. You came into this video perhaps out of curiosity, a strange itch, a question that lingered, a feeling you couldn't quite shake, and what you found, I hope, is not fear but understanding. That your body, even now, even after all these years, is still trying to speak to you, not with panic, not with chaos, but with soft signals, with gentle nudges, with sensations that seem small until you listen closer. An itch on the back, a tingle in the feet, a restlessness in the night. These may not be problems, but they may be prompts. Little reminders that your body is alive, awake, still caring enough to warn you even when you weren't asking. And maybe that's the message behind it all. That aging is not the slow fading we fear, but the slow learning we gain. That growing older isn't about losing time, but learning how to use time better. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not falling apart. You are more in tune than you've ever been. You have experience that younger bodies don't. You've earned the right to pause, to notice, to respond. So let this be the takeaway. Don't dismiss your discomfort. Don't ignore your instincts. And don't believe that caring for yourself is selfish. Because the better you listen, the longer, fuller, and freer you live. Now I'd love to hear from you. What part of today's journey made you pause and reflect? Please share in the comments. I read every word. And if this message touched your heart, please subscribe, hit the bell, and join us again. Because in the next story, we'll explore more of the hidden wisdom your body carries and how to unlock it before it's too late. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. Closing, the gentle truth beneath every itch. Your body's not betraying you. It's calling you back home. Dear friend, perhaps you came here thinking this would be a medical video, a checklist, a list of warning signs. But what you found, I hope, is something much more valuable. You found a conversation, a space where your body is not ignored, not dismissed, not silenced. You found permission to feel, to question, to notice that quiet place beneath the skin where truth so often hides. Because yes, sometimes an itch is just an itch, but sometimes it's the softest cry from deep within, a gentle knocking on the door of your awareness. It is your body's way of saying, I'm still here. I still want to be heard. And maybe, after all these years of giving, doing, worrying, and pushing through, this is the chapter where you finally turn toward yourself. Not with fear, but with kindness. You don't have to know the answer. You only need the courage to ask the question. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to pause and notice. And in that noticing, you reclaim something priceless. The right to be well, the right to be heard, the right to live these next years not in silence, but in connection with your body, your wisdom, your life. So if there's one message you carry from this journey, let it be this: you are not too old to listen, you are not too late to heal, and you are never too small to matter. I'd love to hear what you're taking away from today. Was there a moment that touched you, a phrase that made you pause? Please share in the comments. Your voice matters here. And if this video held meaning for you, please subscribe and turn on the bell so we can walk this road of awareness together. Because the next video holds even more gentle truths and perhaps the next whisper you've been waiting to hear. Until then, thank you. Take care of your beautiful self.